International Film Festival The Hague.
And we are here tonight for this film, Betrayal, and I would like to invite to the stage all three of you, of course, actor Dirk Gunther Mohr. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it very well.
That's okay.
Peter Niilesen, yes, and Maurice Zandviet. Welcome to the stage. Question. So the film is based on a true story. If you can tell us a bit more about the true story, the story that.
Two things I want to write in the story. There was Operation Amherst, the French liberators. The Dutch people doesn't know that a lot of French liberators were part of the freedom of Holland. So, and it was in the north, east from Holland. They did a big path for the freedom from Holland. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is, I want to write. I have to write a story from it's not always black and white. You see in this film, it's not a Hollywood story. They are bad or they are good. No, the line between good and bad is very thin. So I wanted to write it down in the story, and it was a Dutch German officer, Ludwig Mengelberg. The story is based on my own family. I had my grandfather was Dutch and my grandmother was German. And the German side, two of my brothers from my grandmother were dying in Russia in 1942 as German soldiers. And there were in our family, there were never talked about this side of our family. The Dutch side and the German side in the beginning have clashed after the war. After 10 years it was already good again, and the two Germans who died there were from my family were normal guys. And a Hollywood story is always bad and good, and I want to show there were normal people.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the two stories in this film.
You did a really great job portraying that, for sure. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I want to ask you then already a question for you as an actor of performing in this film. So if you can tell us a bit more, since it's also linked to your personal story, your personal background and family, this journey of Ludwig going from being dedicated Nazi fighter to actually changing and betraying basically his country, one of them. How was it to portray that? Did you take a lot of it from your personal side, from your personal family? Did you get a lot of their maybe stories and advice on how to perform in this role?
Yeah, it's of course of the family side, but I have doing investigations and to do this as an actor to acting this part. I was in east of Germany, did with the German soldiers. There are really Germans in the film. You can hear it at the voices. And we take together in a bunker and sleeping together, so they know I am their Oberleutnant. So to feel each other like real comrades, and also Maurice, the part of the reenactment group from Holland, the Gebirgsjäger. I'm part of that group too. After so we know each other for to do the things.
How long did it take to get in the role?
The film, to make this film was 4 years. You have a corona, and that was that was not so good, but it gives new chances to do some things better for the film. And I was 4 years, I think 5 years. And when I was home, it was always Ludwig. And my wife, when I do something wrong, she said always, "You are not Ludwig at the moment." So I'm sleeping with this guy for a few years.
Yeah, we see
Sure.
in the film, I don't know if I also need to take a microphone, you can hear me well, I think, right?
Yes.
We see also in the film that you have flashbacks of seeing your father, your character as Ludwig, you see your father fighting in the war and talking about traitors, and then you have other flashbacks of your family, daughter and wife, and peaceful, more peaceful moments with them for sure. So there is this dilemma between being evil and being good, and the character is trying to fight that. In the end, he succeeds. I would say I personally saw it more, especially when he came to the farmland, that yes, I killed hundreds, thousands of people, but here I am at this farmland, and I will start small, but I will help these people. So there is a very, very big change, of course, in the character. Do you think that actually it means that all of us, we can actually change to be better? Or is it something that he was just stuck, basically, in being in the wrong time and wrong place, and that's why he was who he was until a certain point?
You see that he's a human. That you saw the execution, and you saw in his face that he had some problems with this to do this job.
Yeah.
And he loses his family, and so he was totally in his mind. He was totally messed up. And during the film, you see that he was in the. You see that his mind were completely changed from this war, this madness. And in this film, I think you can portray this on the film in other wars. And you see now Russia and Ukraine, and you see in the West we said this, in the East we said that. There's a lot of propaganda, and there's always a line that's very small, and we see it again, and that's very sad.
Yes, indeed.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I have a question for you now.
Okay.
For Dirk, yeah. So you played the bad guy.
Yes, I did.
And I wanted to ask you, what did it take to capture all those emotions, all the preparation behind your role? What did it take? How long did you have to prepare for that?
Well, Peter called me to portray this character, and I thought it was a big challenge to me, especially because a part of my family has been arrested and been gassed during the war. And my grandmother had Alzheimer's around that period, so I wanted to ask her first to get an approval to play this part, but she has Alzheimer's, so I thought I would ask my mom, and she said no problem, just play the part if you want to. And to put on the uniform, it's already one part. It was, for me, it was strange, because the first scene was in the museum with Peter, and I saw all those swastikas, I saw the portrait of Hitler, and I played the scene. I went home, and I was having a headache, and I was really disgusted with everything. And but I liked the scene and everything, and after that I was just playing that bad guy. I was just thinking, okay, I have to have that ideology of the Germans, what they want, why they want it, and to become that character, you really have to understand that character. You have to understand the time, and I had the luck that I could improvise as much as I wanted, and later on I get the hang of it. I was really having fun also, to become that character, and it was really a big challenge, and I'm very happy I got the chance of Peter to play this part and to be one of those guys in this great cast and crew, and I'm really happy that we made a great movie.
Yes, yeah. Maybe another question, because we see also, in this negative character, we see a lot of course, emotions that he goes through. We see jealousy, anger, all kinds of rage. We see suspicion from the beginning, I would say, with the character Ludwig. So we see a lot of these emotions. Which one of them was the most difficult to play?
Well, in the beginning it was the admiration for this Oberleutnant. I was really admired because he's a hero in Germany, and I wanted to be just like him. Later on, I saw he was different than I thought he was, and how do you say that? Well, the anger was pretty hard to play because you really have to play an angry, not a German, but an angry Dutch soldier who wants to become one of the Germans around that time. And to think about that all the time, you have to be that person. That was pretty hard. But again, the uniform, all the props, all the tanks and everything, all the weapons, they really helped me out. And again, I really had a blast to play that part and see what happened during the scenes. I was shooting the scenes. Also the scene when I point the weapon on Peter when he's on the ground. I remember I was improvising and then I kicked something and it was broken and I walked away and then they said cut. I turned around and everybody was looking at me, what's going on over here? But then I went out of character and then, sorry guys, I'm not doing that anymore, I'm sorry, but that was just improvising and I'm just in character, so.
Very interesting indeed. Well, I have a question about how you recreated the Second World War. You didn't have a Hollywood budget, and yet you managed to make it absolutely fantastic and really convincing. We were there in the scene in the Second World War through the entire film. If you can tell us more about all the equipment, all the tanks. We even saw a steam train in the film. Where did it all come from, and how did you make it happen?
First, I have to say, Maurice did a lot of us for the props. And what?
I can tell something about it if you like. Okay. First of all, Pete. We have to thank Peter for a lot because he managed to get a lot of commitment for a lot of reenactment groups, and there are a lot of reenactment groups in the Netherlands and in Belgium and in Germany, and among these people are really specialists. And okay, it's a little bit strange to say, but I'm a specialist too on the German part of the Second World War, and I'm a collector too. So when we start working with Peter, and I met Peter in another movie we worked before, I said, okay, we're gonna work on this movie, but I want that the film is perfect, and not what you see with a lot of films, especially in the 70s, that you see a lot of Germans always with shouting Heil Hitler, and always with marching boots and that kind of things, because these are political greetings and what was done by the SS, but normally not by the German Wehrmacht. And the part what I then wanted is to put in some of my collections of radios, weapons and that kind of things, and take an overall look that everything is really as close as it was
to the reality.
Very
Okay.
authentic.
Yes.
Very
And
authentic.
more,
You can, but I can say something that too. When I call with Maurice, I want to fix that bunker with the radio, and I said, "One, do you need this?" Yeah, then I must see. Maybe I have time. You have to with this car, 250 kilometers. I'm there. I have all the equipment, and so we did a lot in these 4 years. And he was always there. You know, when you see the machine gun who's shooting, now we are shooting with real munition. And you said in the beginning, what was our budget? It was not more than 300,000 euros.
Amazing.
And we were for the first time by Dutch Filmhuis, and he said, how did you do this? I said, yes, in Dutch in the East, they said, we did this with a lot of naberschap, commitment.
Neighborhood feeling.
Yeah,
And all the from museums, they all helped us, and I'm very grateful and thankful to Maurice and the reenactment groups who did a lot of work for us. So and that's and in this 4 or 5 years we did this with our reenactment groups from Germany. All these people are in these years were friends together to get this film so what it is now.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm very proud that we did this, and it's now on Netflix.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It was in the bioscope here, and it was
Yeah.
it's still a dream.
I've been to quite a few museums in the Netherlands, and I've been to, for example, Openlucht Museum or for the train museum in Utrecht. So I was seeing some of the pieces in the film, and I was like, they must be from a museum. So did you also shoot in actual museums inside the museums as well? Were you able for some of the rooms or?
Most of the props you see in the film are owned by reenactors because they're collectors too.
Including the tank.
But thank you.
The tank,
Beautiful.
yeah.
I mean, it's
Impressive,
fantastic
yeah.
that you
Tank,
managed to
that's a
get that.
group of people. There are only two in the world that are driving
Yeah.
for these Nasrons, and one is restoring yet in the War Museum in Overloon.
Overall, yeah.
And they can use their part of the garage of the museum.
I'm very
to work on
impressed.
it.
I'm very impressed.
This nashorn, this nashorn is the only one nashorn, German nashorn, who is driving. And there's no film in the whole world have this Panzer.
There are lots of questions in my head, but let me start with the ultimate feeling at the end of the film. I was moved to tears. The message, films about war are bad and good. You're from the eastern part of the Netherlands. I was born south. My cradle was 500 meters away from the German border, close to Aachen. I know the dialects, I know the way the Germans speak there. It all sounded authentic, and now I understand why, because you had enactment groups. But the theme as such is so universal. Knowing that my parents were in the war, I was born shortly after the war, but I got all the stories. And my father said the most difficult thing in all this was the conflict, the personal conflict people got into, because they had relatives, they had friends, they had cross-border marriages, etc. And suddenly some idiot in Berlin thinks about something and he puts the whole world to fire. And all these things, all these emotions, they let me participate in that and said, there is not good and bad. Bad is the fact that people are destroyed, worlds are destroyed, relationships are destroyed. Good is that there are still people with a hope and the capacity to overcome that. and also to reconciliate after it all happened, that the Germans, right up to today, young people say stupid crowds, Morpher, etc., etc. Can I share a beautiful anecdote from my family? My father had two brothers who were mentally and physically handicapped, and when the Allies came to liberate that part of the Netherlands, obviously they had to evacuate the people away from the battlefield, and those two boys could not be moved easily. There was a Feldwebel of a Luftwaffe unit, and he got to know my grandfather, he got to know these boys, and he said, well, we'll fix something. And within a few days, he came with a little chart with wheels to transport those boys, and they were made by the unit. So how could my father say they're Rotmoffer? Because they also assisted in helping it,
Yeah, it's well, so I write a story because of these sort of things. The normal German soldier was a human.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So a great compliment for the props, but for all the acting and the authenticity in the acting, and also all the fighting that was going on. I've been a platoon commander in a platoon of tanks in my army service. So I liaised to tanks and the sort of fighting that goes with it. It was very authentic. A great compliment, Peter, and
thank you.
the rest well.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for that.
I can say something to that too. I was 12 years in the Navy as a Navy diver.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Iraq, and I was in Cambodia. I was two situations there was not so.
The battlefield is not strange to you.
It's not so to act as a soldier. It's in my genes. So I know one. I can tell something. We were in Hanover in Germany, and one of the German veterans said, "Okay, I will say something about this, but first I want to make a statement." And he said, one of the one of the black things in our history in Germany is what we do with the Jews. And then he told him what has happened with him in the war, and everybody gets
Goosebumps.
yeah. And after we show some things, some scenes from the film already, and he said to me, and it was a big compliment. He said, "Peter, you act like a real Oberleutnant." So it was a big compliment for me.
Yep.
And I was in a hotel there, and
It reflects.
How big
It's
is
part
your
of-
collection, if I may ask?
Well, what do I have myself? I have some original radios they use, and yeah, I can say the names, but you probably don't know what I mean. A Toorn EB and a Toorn FU, and I have an original DKW motorcycle from 1940.
The one with the two...
No, not
No?
with a
Ah,
sidecar,
with the side-
the
no.
smaller ones.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, uniforms and a lot of other things.
Mhm.
we have
And we built a complete Veld hospital.
you have seen the hospital in the film. That's all made by
Yeah,
Great job, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's all original.
Yep.
But it was much bigger
Uh-huh.
than we have shown in the film, but okay.
And where is the tank? In a barn somewhere in Drenthe? Where is the tank?
The tank is in Limburg.
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 Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, it's now in Overloon.
Overloon, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. Do we have questions? Okay, fantastic, please.
So first of all, congratulations for the movie, and I particularly appreciated, like others, the acting. Dirk, Dirk, specifically your performance, I think it's really good.
Thank you very much.
Was very believable. I think that the character was not super easy. Was not even that the evil guy had some changes in the perception of others, so it wasn't the easiest. It was quite performance, and you did it very well. I work a lot with the European Association of Historians, which will be here tomorrow, which produced my last documentary that you will see tomorrow if you're here, about the current war in Ukraine. And I work also in area where with documentaries where the process of reconciliation is still happening. I see the work the importance of this work. And I see that in the Netherlands it's something that is happening, but it's not for a long time. It's quite recent, let's say, the study of the complexity of your own history, the colonial history, and also the role in the Second World War. So it's a great film because of, I think, that aspect is very difficult to portray the gray areas in a situation like this. I was wondering how, if you have faced some challenges from the public or from the authorities, how it's being perceived, a film where the Dutch and the Germans are friends, and the Dutch is not the hero, the Germans are not the evil guys. Are you facing some difficulties? Like, is the public happy, let's say, about this?
All meet and greets all the people were enthusiastic because I can tell it again. It's not black, it's not white, because everybody knows now. For 30 or 40 years, it was on the other side. It was always Germans were bad, and then it's more open now to discuss this. And I see in Germany the film is now in Germany, is in Switzerland, and in Austria. And I know from the German side they are very happy with this film. I know.
In the Dutch?
And the Dutch also. There is nobody said it's because it's not black white.
It's a realistic movie. It's
Yes.
realistic.
It's not. There is no romanticism in it. It's
It's
real.
a portrait how it was,
Yeah.
how it really was,
Yeah.
and that's a really strong point in this movie.
Have you received any commentary from? Have you received any commentary from other, for example, from Jewish people, from other nationalities about the subject? Have you had a good reception from them? Have you heard something about it?
My wife is Jewish, so that was half Jewish. Her father was Jewish and her mother is not Jewish, but in the beginning she said, okay, you this German story, but she said she found it a very good story. That's she saw. Yeah, I know that in the beginning when we are making this film, there were some from the Jewish side. There were they said, okay, I don't know. They were not so positive. But now they have seen the film. They said, okay. It's yeah.
Because there is a plot also there that is very human. It's the fact that, some people when there is the woman that pretends to be, well, or maybe she had some feelings about, from your character, and then at the end you see, the person next to her said, the partisan said, well, we agree on something,
Yeah.
but she was not really sure, but she has to accomplish that because it was in behalf of many people behind her, right? So that was a really important part. I think, it was like, it's not because she was bad, it's because, there was in some way, some justice on the way that happened, that end happens. Not necessarily, but you know,
I
there
can
was
say-
like this
Yeah,
other
I can say
story.
something
no?
about the end of the film.
Yeah.
The end of the film was, in the first script, was the other way. Ludwig was in the first script dying in her arms. But after doing several times doing the script and is it okay? We do it the otherwise. So
What was that decision? Why did you take that decision? Because that changed everything.
I didn't.
Like,
I didn't.
Ah.
There was a decision from Dutch Filmworks. They wanted that in the film.
Right.
And they asked me how about thinking about this. I said, give me 24 hours. I have to think about it. And she said, finally I said, okay.
I think that was the right decision, because the other one would have ended in some sort of romanticism, and
It
that's
wasn't.
not what the film is about.
It wasn't.
The film is pretty strong, it's pretty heavy and cruel
Mm.
in terms of human relationships. So it would have been out of place, to my feeling. at least.
This was after 24 hours. I said
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, you
Good
can see
decision.
how the story is diverted, you know, to somewhere else. You know, even the message, the final thing is like, okay, you were, you know, like he said, the other way you will be different. But it was, yeah, I like it. I like it too.
I think it all has to do with every people. We are our cradle is everywhere on the world, and even the Germans. You know, when you were born in Germany or in Austria, in the mid 30s or the late 30s, you're just born there. You're raised up there. Yeah, in that time, with everything that is around and goes around, and you grow up with it, and that's how your life. That's how your life flows. The direction you have to take in your life is,
Unfortunately, life.
She was really living it as a small child, and my great grandmother was hitting with 4 little children all by herself in, for example, a farm. And one time there was a German soldier, and he heard something in the barn, and he was opening the door, and he saw a woman with 4 little children, and he walked away. Normally, he would arrest her and the little children. They would die, but he kept them alive, and he said, everything's clear here, and he walked away. So, not all the German soldiers were bad, just like not all the Dutch people were good. So that's why the story about, it's not black and white, and what you said, Maurice, when you were a German, around that time, you had to be in the army. Doesn't matter if you liked it or not, if you were behind the story or the plan of Hitler, you had to do it. Otherwise you will be killed. So that was really pretty easy.
Like another decision.
well, I think it was in the beginning when you live in Germany, and what I've heard from my family, it wasn't crystal clear if National Socialism was a bad thing with some good things going around, or a good thing with some bad things going around. And after 75 years now, okay, we've learned about history and we know a lot of more things, and we can watch back. But when you're living in a small Austrian town like my family did, high in the mountains, and your family survived the First World War, and it goes better and better, and you have a lot more food, and you have proper, decent clothes again. That's how life's running. It's going.
Yes.
I live in Germany, 6 kilometers across the border, and we did a lot of filming in Germany, and everybody is very proud of this film in the where I live.
The neighborhood.
And the neighborhood is where I live it's Laar. It sounds like Dutch, but it's German. And they asked me during the premiere of the film. And they asked me, Peter, are you on the stage? Peter, are you now a German? I lived there now for I think so 24 years. And they asked me, Peter, are you German or are you Dutch? What are you? I said there was JF Kennedy. He said I'm
I'm a Berliner.
a Berliner. I said I'm a Lara. So all the people were saying,
Whenever they ask me that question, I say I'm.
Do we have more questions from the audience?
7 o'clock is the next important one, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Korea. So we should keep an eye on that.
Maybe I will just ask one last question. What was the most difficult scene to shoot that you had to shoot over and over again, if you can remember? I know probably there were many, but maybe one specific one.
The most takes we had to do was the one he was taking the documents to let the soldiers go home, and I had to go on the stairs. I think I did that 30 times, and I don't know why exactly, but I know that I was really tired after that scene, and it was just one small scene of maybe a minute, and that's the scene I had to do the most.
Yeah. I know. I just make the props, but my guys, my geweerzeggers, these are the guys who are running on the stairs. And we keep on running. And all the time was, okay, 5 seconds, you, 10 seconds, next one. Going up, going down. All my guys, they were really exhausted.
Yes, yes. So it was not like some shooting scene or something, but
It was like a sports event.
Yeah.
what you see, there was in the film, what a lot of work was the injuries.
Yeah.
There was, and we have that cost us days.
The makeup of it.
Yeah, we did little explosions on the uniform. So there was a sender, and they asked, when must I fall down?
Yeah.
You will feel it.
Yes.
And then with the sender, you fell down. That was very easy. So you see the blood that's coming out. There's all the scenes where you see the blood is really, it's not with little explosions. And the explosions in the film are really, that's really explosions.
Yeah.
in this
Good
film.
pyrotechnics. That was very good.
Yeah. We did.
What is always a pity, by example, the field hospital we made, the Eastern Front Field Hospital, it's 5 days work for 2 minutes on the screen. But okay, we did that with love.
I can still sense it.
Thank you very much for this great film, for a great story. It was really a pleasure to watch it from the beginning till the very end. Very captivating story. We hope to see you tomorrow with us at the International Film Festival. We are continuing now in the Het Corin House, and then tomorrow we are there all day with the award ceremony at the end of the day. So please join us already from tonight and also tomorrow. And we hope to see you there, and we hope to see you in every international film festival, The Hague.
Tomorrow is Dirk is there, and there will be some other people you will see out of the film will be there. I'm not, because there's another film festival in the north of Holland. There's another Kroon film festival, and I have to be there. So I must choose. That's the thing. But there are some guys, new guys, you will see there out of the film.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention. Thank you.